Alrighty, it looks like we have enough of a crowd back here to actually have a poetry reading. Welcome back. We're at the open mic part of today's festivities. I remind you yet again, they do have the cheesecake special over there, and they have delightful coffee and tea, so please try to support the store here. Buy a book, buy a cup of coffee, be part of it all. Again, please keep in mind this is a family-friendly event. So there are children present in this bookstore, no profanity, please. Watch your language, act accordingly. This is a family-friendly store. We'd like to ask participants be considerate of all other readers. Keep your readings to 5 minutes or less. Give everyone a chance to read. We've got, well, we're down to 11 readers now, 12 if you include me. So away we go. Well, let's see. First of all, I'd like to admonish everyone, the mic's in a great place. Don't be afraid of the microphone. Some people say, you don't have to do that. Feel free to step up to the microphone. It's your friend.
And it helps the video.
Yes, and then you'll be on the video as well. So,
you'll be heard.
As our friend Jennifer said, this is for the brave. She mentioned that today is Veterans Day. It is the Armistice Day, signed on the 11th minute of the 11th hour in the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. 100 years ago was the end of World War I. So I have brought with me, I will not read anything of my own, I have two World War I poets, and we will speak briefly of war has a duality. There is the nobility of the soldiers who wish to go out and do something that is right, to give them all of themselves for their country and for humanity. And then on the other side, there is the horror of war, and the best is always written by the soldiers themselves. This first one was written by John McCrae, who went to visit a battlefield and realized that in the torn up battlefield and amidst all the chaos, well, in Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, while in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, but now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with we who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies blow in Flanders fields. And the second one is by Wilfred Owen. He was a lieutenant in World War I. He takes his title of his poem from a quote by the Latin poet Horace, dulce et decorum est pro patria mori, which means it is sweet and proper to die for one's country. So this comes from a true event that he actually witnessed on the 12th of January in 1917. It's called Dulce et decorum est. Bent double like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and toward our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on bloodshod. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of gas shells dropping softly behind. Gas, gas! Quick, boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone was still yelling out, and stumbling, and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim through the misty panes and thick green light as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dream you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil sick of sin, if you could hear with every jolt the blood come gargling from the froth-corrupted lungs, obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori. Thank you. I debated whether that was too heavy to read. Thank you very much for bearing with me. We will try to lighten things up a little bit. I'm hoping. I'm looking at you, Eric Muller. You're the first reader. Come on up and delight us.
Thank you, Joshua. Lovely reading this afternoon, Jennifer. It's been a pleasure to hear you and hear Lysander. I think is not here. Oh, there you are. I wasn't looking far enough. Front row to the back row. Is that called progress? Lysander, you and people of your age group have so much to look forward to. I'm in my late 70s, and a lot that I do when I sit around and have coffee with my cronies is to talk about things in the past. And when we talk about masculinity and emotions, there were two things we could say. We really should control our emotions, period. Number two, it's even better not to have them. Don't laugh. I mean, that was not even spoken. It didn't have to be spoken in the 1940s and 50s. Never got a lecture, you know, like what you portrayed. But masculinity had so many tacit, unspoken influences. And, you know, that's what culture is in large measure. Most of it is invisible. It takes a jolt to step back and see what it's been, what it is. So I appreciate hearing what you read. And as you look forward, and I look back, we can hope for a fuller emotional palette for all of us.
Well put.
Some of you may have picked up these little bookmarks. These are our invitations from the Oregon Poetry Association to look us up. Jennifer's on the board, as she indicated, so am I. Shirley Mark, who was here earlier, also, she's our new president. At least go to the website. There's a lot of resources there, and we would love your participation and your membership in what we think is a very worthy organization. I have one more left, so I'll leave it to anyone who wants it. There you go. So easy to give things away, isn't it? I have two poems, and one is by Charles Castle, who was the co-host here and couldn't make it. And it's called Path to Cold Mountain. He and I are coffee buddies and fellow poets, and I share from time to time new poems from him. And this was a new one, Path to Cold Mountain. At the river, my lover drops the flowers I gave her, where the blossoms at dusk float past the heart of the mountain. The ice formed by night at the edge of the shoreline cuts at the reeds and the faint light. The moon shines, a snow frosts the summit, the dawn mist is hiding, where I walk up the hillside as winter descends. Well, this is a real jump from any of the poetics we've heard so far. This is from ancient Chinese poetry as it's being translated today into English. And it is even though this is a sad poem, you know, about separation, my flowers have been thrown away, and they're flowing away. It's stated in a very cool and rather detached way. The diction is not terribly exciting. And yet it draws you in to a connection of the landscape and the personal. Well, I was immediately taken by Cold Mountain. I don't know how many of you, Cold Mountain rings a bell for you. Cold Mountain is a mountain in China, but it's also the name of a poet who took that name from the mountain because he was kind of a hermit there. But it was also a jokester. Han Shan is his Chinese name, and he had a couple of friends. One was Pickup, who was an orphan, Pickup, and he had another sidekick called Big Stick. So these guys kicked around the monastery, and they did menial jobs. They washed the dishes and so forth and so on. And when you say, well, when did Han Shan live? Depends where you go. But the book I went to, 7th to 9th century AD. So what does that mean? It means that his poems are probably a conglomeration of a lot of others. Anyway, check him out. He's one of the most amusing, thought-provoking poets, writing very short poems. Gary Snyder did a beautiful job, about 25 of them, in Cold Mountain, Rip Rap and Cold Mountain, a very early publication of his. So I know Han Shan, I love him. And immediately, since this poet, speaker, seemed a little lost going up the mountain, right? As winter descends and the dawn mist, I thought I would speak to getting to Cold Mountain, which the poet Cold Mountain says is really difficult. I can't even tell you how to get there inside. So this is my spin-off from Charles Castle's poem. I would direct you, yet Han Shan did not point the exact way to Cold Mountain. Steep, yes. In December, bitter. Soon after you start, the difficulty begins. If it were fall, I'd say, follow the scarlet leaves. With trees stripped bare, you must search for tread. That's hard across huge boulders blocking the way. Soon clouds wrap you. You keep steering upward. To attain his outlook costs a lot. The view stays with you the rest of your life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric, for bringing not only the subtlety and beauty of Chinese poetry to us. Thank you so much, and I'm sure we're all warming up to Cold Mountain. It's required of me. Okay, we have another poet. Are we ready for Mr. Michael Hess to come forward?
Hey everybody. This is my first time here, so I'm trying to control myself. I'm probably going to leave the genre a little bit too, which happens. Poets do that. This one is for this time of year. Leaves fall from trees in grace. Shaken into submission, relieved of duty, scattered upon the earth, they go into retrograde. The spirit of me lies dormant under their blanket, waiting in universal time, appropriate to a beginning. Sensing and awakening, I revel in the mastery of creation. Longing to be part of the play, to dance within the interreaction, assimilated into the next generation, I stumble to get my legs under me as I walk into the world of light and night, alone. I wonder back when I lay dormant under winter's blanket, was she a phantom, an allegory of my desire to attain, to breach the void, allowing nothing to stay the same? I surrender, mind, knowing, relieved of that was. New eyes grown in the ashes of creation. What dreams the universe spawns in between when and then, as I summons my spirits to exist anew. My promise stays intact, genuine. I am not to ask, but instead to receive, graced as the leaves, to be shaken in the end, relieved of duty. The highway is dark. If only she was there next to me, I could reach to her. She would rest her head on my lap, and my hand would find the small of her back. Our hearts rushing in our chests like the wheels running down the road. And there is no time. There are no miles. Only us as one. All right, to continue with that genre. I walked along the beach, wondering why her life-giving waters had receded so far back on the tide. In my mind's eye, I did not want to believe what it was that I saw coming, but in my heart, I knew that it was the way of her. So I stood there and watched her wave approach, knowing that I could not run, knowing I was too close to her wrath. I stood there frozen in fear, accepting my fate. I had put myself in her path of destruction because she had given me the life to stand there with. She struck me with all her force, and I surrendered, knowing she would want me to become part of her chaos. And somehow, after all the terror, I awoke to see that she had spared me, but she was gone, and I was not the same man. Today, as I walk upon her shore and gaze out upon her beauty, I wonder if she will beckon me back into her world, back into her heart, back into her life-giving womb. The declaration title of that poem is Tsunami. Okay, here's one more, and I'll get down off here. We'll ramp it up just a little bit. This is Living in Sacred Time. This is not mine. There is not mine. It is not mine. I'm living on borrowed time. My feet touch the earth. My hands touch the earth. My mind touches the earth. I'm living on given time. This is not mine. She is not mine. He is not mine. I'm living on graced time. My heart is, my spirit is, my soul is. I'm living on hallowed time. When is not mine? Where is not mine? What is not mine? I'm living on poetic time. My eyes see truth. My emotions feel truth. My body is truth. I'm living on real time. Valleys are not mine. Mountains are not mine. Oceans are not mine. I'm living on earth's time. My love loves. My kiss loves. My sex loves. I'm living on physical time. Yours isn't mine. Ours isn't mine. Theirs isn't mine. I'm living on universal time. My ears hear it. My nose smells it. My skin feels it. I'm living on appropriate time. Animals are not mine. Plants are not mine. Insects are not mine. I'm living on their time. My being observes this. My consciousness, this. My reverence, this. I'm living in sacred time. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for that scattering of leaves in sacred time. Joanne James, come on down. Where is she? There she is. Do we have Joanne James to read for us now? She's approaching the microphone.
Coming in for a landing. There we go. How's that for a height?
Perfect, perfect. I think I'm nice and close. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's a nice event today. This is no genre. It's me. When the 20th century was your birthplace. When the 20th century was the time we found ourselves acting hysterical, like teenagers with jelly beans, like teenagers with moonbeams, wild with laughter at Poodle Creek. I think this is what's happened to me again. Is it this time? I did it this time. Okay, our TVs closed up shop at night, played the Star-Spangled Banner, then screens went to snow. We slept, dreaming of strangers, the ones we hadn't met, who would change our lives, the ones we'd meet on trains, where thin women held chihuahuas in small cages on their laps. There were no dining cars. We carried apples and thermoses of coffee, while the Hudson rambled outside our windows. Our minds were clouded, our strangers sexy. Train rumbling along with same destination as the Hudson, past Sleepy Hollow and unnamed castles. Who could concentrate on books or conversation? In the 20th century, we survived New York City, when 42nd Street was torrid, Central Park was lurid, no chance we'd win the lottery. The village was folk, so we welcomed punk. Dull knife blast in darkness, thrash minds, sucking dissonant sound. We'd yell, we'd burst open in the 20th century, when war was ended in atomic mushroom death. And we had civil defense drills crawling under our school desks, those heavy wooden ones, those that were our only barrier between nuclear blast and first grade. There were UFOs in the 20th century. We considered those strangers, were they benign teachers, protectors, or evil like the creature from the Black Lagoon? Vincent Price and JFK were kings of the 20th centuries. We were misrepresented, misunderstood. Tupperware parties were spiritual. And our futures sealed with our crooked yellowing teeth and midriff bulges. Still, we would all try to make it in Hollywood. This is I got this from thought of this from a quote from Dylan. Mercy walked the plank. Shelter us, mercy, we fall into disrepair. There is falling a tunnel, our cryptic blood vessels beneath our primitive skin. Have mercy, our ancestors who crowd the sidewalks in the cities of our dreams. Dream, mercy, the rest is people talking to themselves, people with tears in their eyes, who sail the ocean, who take the planes and climb onto trains. Mercy, we thought that would never end. We would never say goodbye. Wondrous mercy that brought us Kmart blue light specials. We click on it. This sends that. We have named. We have been named. Mercy through wires, through wireless. With mercy, we will have our ashes carried out of here in those little white plastic Chinese takeout bags that say, "Have a nice day." Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Joan. That was great. 20th century, lurid and torrid. How well I remember. No. Well, yeah, actually, I remember the 18th century too. So we're going to turn it over to our dear friend Jules, who will be reading us some poetry. Let me lift this. He's a taller guy. There we go. Take it away, Jules.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to start this out with a quote. I do a lot of quotes. This is has a title, Top Secret Protocol from Failsafe. In case of imminent nuclear disaster, prayer will be reissued in all public schools.
Thank you.
Glad you like that. I'm featuring the poetry of E.E. Cummings today, who was one of the revolutionaries of beatnik poetry, and some of the words may be strange to you, but use your imagination. I put titles on all his poetry. He doesn't have any titles, but it doesn't make much sense without it, in my opinion. The Price of Valor.
Look at this. A 75 done this nobody would have believed. Would they? No kidding. This was my particular pal. Funny, ain't it? We was buddies. I used to know him like the poor cuss, tenderly this side up, handle with care, fragile, and send him home to his old mother in a new, nice pine box. Collect. Veterans Day speech. Next to, of course, God, America, I love you, land of the pilgrims, and so forth. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early, well, my country, 'tis of centuries come and gone, and are no more, and what of it? We should worry, in every language, even deaf and dumb. Thy sons acclaim your glorious name by gory, by jingo, by gee, by gosh, and by gum. Why talk of beauty? What could be more beautiful than these heroic happy dead, who rushed like lions to the roaring slaughter? They did not stop to think they died. Instead, then, shall their voice of liberty be mute? He paused as sweat rained down on the mic, and thus he spoke, and drank rapidly a glass of water, as if his life depended on it. My two armistice speeches for poems for today. Now we'll feature something that's common for this time of the year, fog. And this is a very famous poem of his, Under Fog's Touch. It is a little foggy. Under fog's touch, slowings, fingerings, whee, which way? Turn into whose? People become Brawl at the bar. Spoke Joe to Jack. Leave her alone. She's not your gal. Jack spoke to Joe. Left crash, pal dropped. Oh God, Alice, yells, but who shot? Up grabbing, had by my throat. Me, give it him good. Oh, a bottle she quick. Who stopped? Damn, fall all we go spill. And chairs, table, thee, and bitch, whispers Jill, mopping. Too bad, dear. Shh, not yet. Jesus, what blood? Darling, I said. Skating on that. Okay. One more. And this is a real masterpiece. If I can find it. Ah, yes. Mankind's psychoanalysis. Pity this busy monster, man unkind. Not. Because progress is a comfortable disease. Your victim, death and life, safely beyond, plays with the bigness of his littleness, electrifies. Electrons deify one razor blade into a mountain range. Lenses extend unwish through curving wherein till unwish returns upon itself. Now, what that means is a world of made is not a world of born. So pity poor flesh, and trees, and poor stars, and stones, but never this fine specimen of hyper-magical ultra-omnipotence. Now we psychiatrists know a hopeless cause if, listen, there's a hell of a good universe next door. Let's go.
Oh yeah, hell of a good universe next door. Thank you, Jules, for reminding us. E.E. Cummings. Wow. Alrighty. Anyone lived in a pretty hot town. We have Paul Halupa is going to be reading for us next. Here he is all the way in the back. Come on up, Paul. He's read with us before. Good smile. Good to see you, Paul.
Thank you.
How's that for height for you? I wish you were taller.
Jennifer and Lysander, thank you. Drunk with light, and he knew my dispositions towards small things. And Lysander, the clouds will have ladders hanging from them. Oh my goodness. I've always been drawn, I guess, to a sense of place, and this short poem here is about one of those places, but the name of it is What to Know Near Shaniko. But the problem is that Shaniko may, shall we say, your sense of location here may desert you. Shaniko, Oregon, oh, just hardly a ripple in the pond. But if you'd like to find it, cross the mountains to Redmond, turn north, go through Madras, and up in the high desert between, say, Madras and the Columbia River. This is where we are. What to know near Shaniko. Upon these gold curving hills, great barrels of lazy light drip pure honey. Melt amber on rolling, ranging grasslands cast between Oregon's summits and the far dozing Ochakos. The wind is sigh in the landscape that seems without boundary. The world is immense, so wide that all that's left is to give it room, give it breath enough to do what beauty always seeks to do. Fill the lost places in us when trouble leans in hard. Hopes wane, die, and disappear inside life's whispers and coiling shadows. No sound lifts from these hills, save the murmuring of wind. Even the cry of the hawk is swallowed in the numbing distances. But here is where the powers lie, in such silence where all there is, or was, or ever could be, is grass, sage, juniper, and sky. Thank you. About 3 years ago, I wandered off to a playground to watch my grandchildren play in Redmond, Oregon, where 4 of them live. And I don't know, I suppose I was overcome. It was coming on winter, but I was overcome by, I guess, the sun and the pleasantry of the kids. And I suppose I should give credit where credit's due. I was also overcome by Robert Service. And so if this rings some sort of Robert Service bell, it's only because I'm not sure he didn't write it. Hope Park Playground. From a stand of trees lifts the soft kindred breeze of children in laughing bouquets, and the scurry of feet in a constant drumbeat fills winters and long summer's days. Under blue skies serene by bright fields of green, merry spirits caper and lope, kids who race and who climb through the most sacred time, when life's but a playground of hope. Here the shy and the bold, here the young and the old may taste the aromas of youth, the friendships we shared, and the loved ones who cared, who touched us with kindness and truth. A swing and swift slide, strong zip lines that glide, quaint walks and a rugged rock wall, each conspire to say in a welcoming way, come children, come one and come all. May I ask a question here, honest answer? How many football fans are there? 1, 2, 3. I skip it, go to the other one. I taught many years of high school, and 2 doors down from me for 25 years was a splendid lady named Nancy O'Keefe, who was raised in a small town in Montana. And this poem, written a few years back, was for her. We shared 25 years together at the school. It's called The Deepness of Wind for Nancy O'Keefe. Sometimes in summer, When you least expect it, tall grasses spirited by sweet winds bend and lie down, and without warning, one place becomes another place, one time, another time. A train sounds from the unfathomable prairie, and you're there. A young girl standing alone on a rise above Harleton. Young enough for you to have thought Montana the whole world. A voice pouring from that blue and saffron sky tells you so. And something in the way the cumulus drift toward the mountains. A speck of town sleeping lies at your feet, but it is your town. You feel your breath slow inside cascading light, and you twirl, arms to your sides, your soft dress swirling inside an innocence you have not felt for a long time. When a deepness of wind lifts your hair and you throw your face full and open to the sun. Content, you amble a meadow where a burst of blossoms smiles and reminds you of your mother. You stoop to pick a flower and imagine your father sitting silent in the front room, the familiar lines of his face hidden behind a newspaper. Laughter rises on a breeze, brothers, sisters, forgotten friends calling you to play. And you run toward the happy company as if you thought time were a protector. But on your way, you mark the solemn lines of a willow and a horse asleep in shadow, and for a moment you pause to wonder why you notice. Then everything slows. Images wrinkle, furrow, turn surreal, as when a welcome dream begins to wither just before dawn. If you quiet yourself, you may cause the images to linger. The portraits are yours, as much a part of you as your prayers, as sacred. Nothing good in the mind of God is ever lost. A wind blows. If I can leave one short little 4-line poem with you for the season that's about to come. It's just a short little poem called Like This. Will it be on an afternoon like this, splendid in light and the promise of birds, that the last voice will whisper with a kiss, gentle words, quiet words, passwords.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, for bringing us with you through the grass, the sage, the juniper sky. Beautiful imagery, thank you. Well, next we have Bob Nordstrom. Bob Nordstrom is going to read for us now. Come on up, Bob.
I think that's good. Good. I think that's good. In honor of Veterans Day, I'm going to start off with an appropriate poem, I believe. It's hard to believe, almost 50 years now since I was in Vietnam. This poem covers a broader time frame than Vietnam, but it kind of ends there. It's called The World We Pretended Then. The summer of my baby does the hanky-panky. I bake to a sweet potato sheen, watching adolescent heads dip like bobbers in sun-spangled waves, then pop to the surface to suck the jukebox-filtered air, translucent torsos flailing in a wild dervish dance, to the titillating lure of hanky and panky financed on quarters pilfered from mothers' purses. My brother, not so lucky a few summers earlier, the summer of does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight, when one dipped but didn't bob, fisherman's dream, lifeguard's nightmare, and he dove into the cool quarry depths to retrieve, then kiss a young man's cool blue lips. As cool and blue as those of the summer of I can't get no satisfaction, I believe. when he pulled the hearse into the drive to grab a quick sandwich on the way to the mortuary and asked if I wanted to see a dead guy. "Hey Bob, do you want to see a dead guy?" was what he said, which of course I did. Of course I did. So he opened the vault-like caddy door, and there he was, an old blue man who once played golf with President Eisenhower, the old bit later boasted. Fast forward to the summer after Jim, Jimmy, and Janice died. Highway tie-up on a mail run to Quang Tri. Crowd donning black silk pajamas and patty hats gathers around two young men and a young woman stripped to the waist and pocked with small, muddy red holes, staring heavenward like sightless angels blinded by the sun those British boys promised was coming. We looked, we listened, then retreated from the dirge of snot and tears dripping onto a gurney of dirt to retrieve news from the world we pretended then meant home and melodies that might save us all. Thank you. This week has been a very productive week for me for poetry. I wrote 3 poems this week, and I generally don't read a poem that quickly, but I'm going to throw these out here. This is called From the Trivial to the Tragic in a Heartbeat, or Lack Thereof. I should be writing now. Okay, guess I am. But a minute ago, when I thought I should be, I was scrolling through Costco ads on my iPhone. In this moment, realized I've just proffered a free ad for the 2 megacorps. As if their stocks need a testimonial from me. Assuming, of course, someone someday will hear this. But wait, you're hearing this now. And for all I know, maybe wishing I would wrap up quickly so you can Google, oh my, another freebie. Word of mouth, nonetheless, the best kind, they say. But be wary, I advise. Think twice before you click on, because you may get dinged with a news alert. Say 11 murdered in a synagogue, or a child dropped cold in a school hallway. Their livestock tanked in a pool of blood, while the markets correct, then slowly rise. And it's only Tuesday. And I'll finish with this. My wife went to Portland for a baby shower this weekend, and I'm not proud of this, but I spent the night with another woman. This is titled, My Night with Alexa. I called Alexa's Siri. No response. Siri, I called again. Then again. 3 times, like Peter's denial of Jesus, before I realized my mistake, lowered my head, and shook it slowly. I will not apologize, because she, that sultry little narcissist, refused to respond. No swirl of color to show her rapt attention, and otherworldly patience awaiting my stammered command. Miffed, I presume, that I spoke the name of her loathed cousin. But yes, I admit, tongue-tied I'm feeling, as if perhaps I'm not really in charge here. That this mysterious woman trapped in a little black cylinder, this digitized Amazonian seductress, may hold answers to questions I don't know yet how to ask, and may be listening even now as I whisper these words to you. Thank you.
Thank you for ending on a light note. And wow, melodies might save us all. May we continue to make those melodies. Well, we have our dear friend Connie James is going to read for us next. Connie, welcome to the microphone. Connie's been with us for quite a while. She's one of our favorite poets. Come on up, Connie. Yeah, you are one of my favorite poets.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll be brief tonight. And this poem, I won't tell you before what it inspired me. but it's called Happy Birthday. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I've just recently discovered for myself that life is a puzzle. When I recognize the piece that fits, it is very assuring that I am understanding something. Each piece that fits is connected to each other. Sometimes the part of the puzzle takes a very long time and its process becomes work and study. Other times it comes fast and I need afterwards to remember that it did happen. Now there are now in 40 in my generation, midlife, that was the half of the puzzle was completed. The concept is changing. Age has nothing to do with it sometimes. If one needs a crisis, so be it. Blame it on turning 40. Being middle-aged doesn't have to be the middle of any puzzle or journey. Some people try to overcome it instead of exploring it. Whatever path one takes while trying to put the puzzle together, even though the whole is put the puzzle, parts of the whole, one needs to recognize the parts in order to see the whole. The mind, the body, and the spirit need to be present in order to bring that light upon their life and light into whatever one puts together. So, with each piece of your puzzle, I wish you delight in the finding, along with peace, contentment, and ability to allow the light to shine on your picture. Now this is a really short one, and it's called Proclamation. An open heart, here grows a bountiful harvest. To be rooted is perhaps the most important and least recognized need of the human soul. That is a wonderful thought to meditate upon Thanksgiving. So call it a clan, call it a family, whatever you are, you need one. It is the blessed to have this as to have this tie that binds.
Tap and applause for Connie. A little more, please. Yes. Yeah, that's from Connie James. Thank you for reminding us that not only is life a puzzle, but that yes, we are connected to each other. Through poetry sometimes. Okay, we've got a couple of Salisburys coming our way. First we will have Brian Salisbury will read for us.
That's good. Thanks. Okay, well, lately I've been doing, because it's been a political couple of weeks, I've been doing largely political parodies of fairly popular songs, including this Leonard Cohen song that was in The Watchmen at a funeral, that movie, and also in the Avengers, one of the series of movies, at a JFK-like funeral where they think Superman's dead and that type of thing. But anyway, okay, so it's called Everybody Knows, and my version of the title is Everybody knows President Blumpkin. Everybody knows the dice are loaded. Everybody votes with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war's never over. War profiteers won. The good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor and the rich stay rich. That's how it goes. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that the boat is leaking. Everybody knows that the captain lied. Everybody got this broken feeling like their father or their dog just died. Everybody talking to their pockets. Everybody wants a box of chocolates and a long stem rose. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that you love the Nazis. Everybody knows that you love the Klan. Everybody knows that you're a sadist, Pizzagating kids to Talibans. Everybody knows you're Russian treason, hacking votes beyond all reason, golden showers with hose, and everybody knows. Everybody knows, that's how it goes. Everybody knows. Everybody knows, that's how it goes. Everybody knows, and everybody knows that it's now or never. Everybody knows that it's us or you, and everybody knows that you lie forever. When you tweet a line or two, everybody knows the deal is rotten. Amorosa's tapes not forgotten. With your N-words and hoes, everybody knows. And everybody knows climate change is coming. Everybody knows that it's moving fast. Everybody sees your war on family values, which was your false ethic in the past. Everybody knows the scene is dead, but there's a stormy meter on your head, on your bed, that will disclose what everybody knows. And everybody knows that you're in trouble. Everybody knows that you're Putin's dude. You wave the cross but kidnap babies. You golf and gloat because we're screwed. Everybody knows it's coming apart. Empathy becomes a long lost art. The nukes will blow, and everybody knows. Everybody knows President Blumpkin, that's how it goes. Everybody knows. You are insane and look like a pumpkin. That's how it goes. Everybody knows. Anyway, there are none of George Carlin's 7 forbidden words in there, but there are some words that you'd have to look up on the internet to find out what they meant. Let's see. All right, this one's called Darkness, also by Leonard Cohen, and the title was just a bit of frippery I threw in. Darkness, comma, 2 bigots, 1 cup. I caught the darkness drinking from the Nazis' cup. I caught the darkness drinking from your cup. I said, is this contagious? You said, just drink it up. I got no future. I know my days are few. The present's not that pleasant. Just a lot of things to do. I thought past hate would last me, but the darkness got that too. I should have seen it coming. It was right behind your eyes. You were young and I was limber. I just had to tweet the lies. Russia hacked votes easy. The darkness treason's price. I don't smoke no cigarette. I don't drink no alcohol. I ain't had much hating yet, but that's always been your coy. Hey, I don't miss it, baby. I got no taste for anything, but boy, I love the Saudi painbow. Scared the press and paid me too. Another morn with Putin, I pretended it was you. But I caught the darkness, baby, and I got it worse than you. I love Blackwater. I was drinking from your cup. I caught the darkness drinking from your cup. I said, is this contagious? You said, just drink it up. Okay, this is a Joni Mitchell song parody, Stormy Weather. Stormy Daniels weather. Don't know why, there's no spin that seems to fly. Stormy weather, since Putin and I ain't together. Golden showers all the time. Putin's bear on a bear. Leaks and crazy town everywhere. Stormy weather. Just can't keep all the lies together. I'm fired up all the time, all the time. I fired the Hitler elf. Whittakered him away, 'cause Mueller stepped up and spanked me. If he's going to stay, Pence the theocrat will replace me. Every night I'm sprayed. Hope the videos they won't disgrace me. I'll walk pardoned. I implore, I can't go on. White House staff jailed and gone. Stormy weather. Since Putin and I ain't together. Golden showers all the time. Golden showers all of the time. Okay, this is just about the stock market.
Brian, that's it.
That's it? Okay.
Oh, how I do love a parody, and Leonard Cohen said, it's okay. It's all right. All right, Joyce Salisbury is going to be speaking next. Come on up, Joyce. See what she has to say.
I thought I'd start out by reading one to my grandson when he was a baby. I took care of him for a few days while his father and mother were working at the cannery, I remember. And he was very small then. You know, I can hold him in my arms. He's 6'5" now, and bald, and 38, I think. But anyway, grandson, holding you close, suddenly our hearts pulse together, and we beat an echo of generations. This infant against breast repeats itself, pounds down, pulsing a dance we cannot see. A valve, a small holding action along a course from some giant pump. I rock you, finding the rhythm that rolls us back to the starting place. And I'll read this second poem. It's about puzzle making. Working this 2,000-piece puzzle. The edge pieces are in place, trying to hold it together. I have finished the clover green and found a robin hidden there, and come to the black trunk in the center of everything. It has taken me 6 weeks. Your dying caught me with sky and blossoms, still unformed. This is an April picture. Apple blossoms, I think, and dandelions. I stand, trying to fathom the black trunk, with its dark branches holding up everything, trying to put it together.
Well, thank you, Joyce, for teaching us about the rhythm rolling us back to the beginning, all these puzzles that we're trying to understand and put together. Great afternoon of poetry. We're coming up on kind of near the end here. We have Sandy Share. Do I see a Sandy Share? Yes, I do. Here she comes. Sandy Share to the microphone. All righty. All righty.
I think I'm as tall as she was. The election reminded me of this one. This is an old one. And I hope I have it memorized because my printer wasn't working. So it's called Loss of Light, the election of 2016. Now, in late fall, when beauty is at bay and finds us laboring neath a lesser moon, obscured by clouds and fog, we start our day too late, and then we end it all too soon. And in that struggle, that November tasks each weary champion of the fading light, we drop our summer glow and golden mask, and there in fallen color face our night. But you and I have seen this dark before, and know which lanterns hold the wick that lasts. We light the flames and gather fuel for more, and seal the doorway from the icy blast. It never did us any good to mourn the coming of the winter and the storm. Last week, Charles mentioned the word current, and then the other Charles had a sort of cadence with his poems, so I went home and wrote this one, and I don't know if I can read my own writing, but we'll try it. It's very personal. It's about my guitar, Wendell, which is really personal to me. I mean, really people, you know. She carried her guitar everywhere she went, wisely following the river's path, the fluid progression of childhood, college, work. She sang to young men who leaned in to hear, strummed out protests against injustice, sang her baby to sleep, sang joys and disappointments, held her guitar high through life's rapids, struggled to remember old songs, remembered best the love songs, but forgot the man, forgot the beginning and the end, forgot the words, but the fingers never failed to find the right strings. The hum of the thing was always there. Was it from the first hum, she wondered? The first sounds when she was placed in the water of life, a breath of wind, drum of rain, splash of rocks sliding gently over each other, a canopy of fresh leaves that whistled her tune, until her fingers were ready for strings that knew she would one day come. Oh, how she wished she had saved those first strings, the ones that vibrated out only young, eager days of sun on water, that careless drift when all of life still flowed gently to the sea.
Marvelous stuff. Thank you, Sandy, for we're all laboring neath a lesser moon, and yet we remember the love songs. Maybe not the beginning or the end. Okay, next we will bring up the man who's standing behind the camera, Mr. C. Stephen Blue, is going to have a few words here at the microphone. Come on up, Steve.
Thank you all so much for coming out today. We've had a great time. I'm going to do a couple quick ones for you, and then I'm going to bring up our featured readers again for a few minutes each to close us out. So let's see, I have a short poem here that I wrote recently, another poem about the writing process. Poem for Mass. I sing the obvious, harmony understood by majority. I bring the purview, relatable range of thoughts. The gravity of things relevant can bring comfort, if not relegated to merely the deep. And this one is a poem from my brand new book that I'm very proud of, The Power of a Woman. And I read some last month when I was a featured reader here. So this one is called Away. Languishing beauty of love's lost refrain, searching my heart to follow the feeling of empty dreams. In the gathering storm, I sense the fading sunrise, whose gleam now drips. A ship sails away in the night. Never shall the time seem slower, nor grow the heartache deeper. From this dream I cannot awaken, retrieve what is left of happiness, run fast to catch a glimpse before it crosses the horizon of emptiness. Oh, how I long for that which cannot be followed, how I reach for that which cannot be touched, how I yearn for that which my heartbeat remembers. What is gone forever, I must move on. But all I can see is the future that cannot be. As I awaken to you, softly kissing those memories away. Thank you. All right, so now I would like to bring each of our featured readers back for just a short little piece, or a few minutes each, starting with Jennifer Rood.
All right, thank you. I have loved hearing all of your poems. So thank you for that. I'm going to end. Let me finish with that last thought. Actually, I feel privileged to have been able to share this time with you. There's such beautiful poetry that you guys have been able to read out into the world here, and a lot of the images are going to stick with me, and I may steal some idea and work with that later. So thank you. This is from Moments Before Midnight, and although this isn't my book, I have a poem in it, and this was back last June. That was the featured book, and a number of people who are in this were able to read. It's Moments Before Midnight, Oregon Poets Write for Ecological, Social, Political, and Economic Justice. There's actually a second version coming out. Proceeds go to the ACLU. And anyway, this, I was honored to have my poem Hope be the first poem in the book. So I was imagining what a superhero might need in the modern world to be able to deal with whatever it is that would come their way. And hope seemed to be the thing that all superheroes need to do good work. And if you remember back, the first poem that I read to you, really, it was Batman, or one of the first poems is the Batman Batgirl poem. So this idea of superheroes really resonates with me. Anyway, the poem is called Hope. In the poem, hope is a dagger, but it's not a destructive tool. It is, it's something that's a creative tool, and you can do good with it. So here it is, Hope. Keep it at your hip like a knife. It is your best tool. Do not forget that you carry it with you. You have sheathed it in doubt, which conceals its power. But do not forget to take it out and admire how it gleams. It is yours. No, it is yours to use. Use it. Use it to pry open closed doors. Use it to slice through old paradigms. Use it to sever the pervasive patterns of what has been from the possibilities of what can be. Use it to cleave injustice from the body of the land and from the experience of its people. Use it to carve new monuments. Use it to cut through the bone cage of fear that surrounds your own heart, so you can free the doves that flutter there, already beating their wings. Take it with you into your future and into your children's future, where you will build your best life with this, your best tool.
And Lysander, do you have something you'd like to share with us?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so initially I was going to read a completely different poem, but on the drive up here from Grants Pass, we brought along a little kitten, a little black kitten, because we had to rehome him, and his new home was up here. And in that car ride, I was looking at him, and it inspired me to write just a little sort of political poem. But here it is. It's called Tradition. Black cats are the least likely to be adopted from shelters. Not because they have a higher risk of illness, or because they have special needs, or because they have distinct personalities. Black cats are left homeless simply because they are black. But it goes deeper than that. We as humans have chosen black cats to be the scapegoat of evil, though they have done nothing to warrant such a title. We claim that black cats are unlucky, that they are the familiars of witches, and because of this nasty reputation, millions of black cats around the world suffer. People claim that tradition is important, but when tradition harms others, in this case black cats, it is best to leave it in the past.
Thanks so much. So thanks to all our readers. It was just really great today. So I'm so glad you all came out. I'm glad so many of you read. We had a really wonderful reading today. So I hope you enjoyed our event. As a reminder, we're here on the second Sunday of each month from 3 to 5 p.m. We look forward to seeing you again next month when our featured readers will be Laura Romian and Wayne Westfall. And their information is on the back of the flyer over there. If you haven't gotten one, pick it up. So, again, if you'd like to support our authors, please go to our website. You can find all the information there to help support our event. Thanks again for coming. See you next time.